Well, what do we have here? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Craig. I'm one of your recovery coaches here at Capital Recovery Center.
Good afternoon. My name is Karen. I'm also a recovery coach.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael, also one of your recovery coaches.
All right. So the holidays is coming up upon us.
All right. You got announcements?
We may have some announcement, I think. And, I'll let Karen do her thing.
Recovery on Wheels will be out next Wednesday, December 8th at the main park across from City Liquor in Millville. Our recovery spotlight will be posted tomorrow, so keep an eye for that at our Facebook page.
Yes. Recovery Spotlight is spotlighting an individual who has been successful in their recovery. Capital Recovery Center would like to highlight people in recovery to celebrate their recovery milestones and spread the message of recovery. These are important accomplishments and deserves to be celebrated. With your permission, we would love to share your success and infuse hope in those still struggling to eradicate stigma and to eliminate shame. So whenever you see us put the Spotlight Recovery up, there will be a link that if you would like to on your own, fill out the form and be one of our recovery spotlights to infuse hope into those who are still struggling. That will be the first Friday of every month. So that means this Friday we will be promoting or announcing the December's recovery spotlight. All right, what we got here? Feeling good.
All right. So also remember, coming next Monday, your famous, your most important, how AJ used to call me, the number one coach will be out in Violent Police Station.
Oh yeah, the road will be out.
Yeah, so come on out, tell your loved ones, and we're gonna be there to support you and your family as well with all the services that we have.
Yeah, we'll be at the Violent Police Station, and I'll always say you don't have to go to jail. You should go to treatment. If you have a problem, don't go to jail. Let us send you to get you some treatment. All right. All right. So today we're going to go over some things, tips for staying sober during the holidays, because around this time you got Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. These always, they won't never change. They're back to back to back. So around this time there's a lot of difficulties that people will experience. So we picked out something, and we're just going to go over one part of it today. And then next Thursday, as we work our way towards the Christmas holiday, we will go over another one. So we probably do one every Thursday for the next 3 Thursdays. So we got 3 Thursdays for Christmas. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look like
Yes, we do.
we got 4. So we'll find something. Craig can come up with something, and we'll be trying to work with you guys. All right. So this particular worksheet that we have is coming from the libertyranch.com website. You can go to their website, and they got a lot of things on there, different things that you can use for your own personal edification or for a group setting like we're doing today. So it says recovery tips for staying sober this holiday season. Coronavirus and staying sober during the holidays. The holidays can be an especially difficult time for those struggling with an addiction. This year, holiday stresses are further amplified by the COVID-19 pandemic. That is so true. All right, between coronavirus and the addiction recovery, social isolation and loneliness has left individuals in more precautious positions, making staying sober during the holidays all the more difficult. So what that is letting us know, which is true, the coronavirus on top of what we individuals were already experiencing during the holiday season in the area of recovery has basically been amplified. It's on another level. Like, well, not in our lifetime, not in my lifetime that I can recall. Probably people older than me can recall some stressful times like that when they were all going on at the same time. But it says going home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or New Year's can add a layer of stress for most people, whether or not they are dealing with a substance use disorder. With the many celebration, run-ins with not so pleasant relatives,
Uncle Charlie.
and all of the holiday expenses, many find themselves struggling emotionally. For persons struggling with addiction or to alcohol or substance, the stress and emotional turmoil can cause them to turn to drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism or relapse if they are already in recovery. So you all of the stressful things or the emotional roller coasters that you possibly go through during the holiday season in general, and now you add COVID-19 along with that, you can see why it has become a very stressful situation during the holidays. Well, it's very stressful before the holidays, but during the holidays, you know, you got a lot of things that people are accustomed to doing, family members to be around. So those things can be some type of trigger.
Just like you said earlier, it can be amplified. And so let's talk about what makes holidays and recovery so difficult.
All right, let's go to it.
Let's get into it. The holidays are a time that many feel their sobriety being tested. You know, somebody tugging at you, somebody always, you know, getting on your last nerves, things like that, on top of all the other things. Living with substance use disorder is already challenging. There you go, under normal circumstances. Recovery requires a great deal of commitment, introspection. Let me go into that word a little bit. You know, introspection is you looking deep within yourself. You're really doing a self-evaluation of what's going on, how you feeling. You know, get in tune with your emotions, get in tune with your thought process. These things play a very important role in our recovery. And so it says introspection and healing from past wounds. That's another thing. You know, a lot of times we, as those of us in recovery, we have not. We may have took on the substance abuse aspect, but there are other layers that we may not have addressed, and some you may have, such as anger issues, mental health issues, relationship issues, social issues. There's a whole host of issues that we have to work on ourselves in this process called recovery. All right. Part of the process is learning to manage life obstacles and respond in healthy, constructive ways. Constructive ways. How would you do that? Well, I guess we'll get into that as we go on. However, this may feel even more difficult during the holiday season. There are a number of reasons why staying sober during the holidays is more difficult for many.
That's right. Responding in healthy, constructive ways is very important when you're thinking about when you're going through life in general. Not just people who struggle with substance use disorder or addictions, whatever you want to call it. It's how we respond to whatever we're faced with. Most of the times in my life when I was younger, the way I responded got me in trouble. Now I'm very conscious of I can't respond off of my emotions when I'm going through, because one bad decision can actually ruin my whole life. So now I'm conscious of, I haven't always been that way, of how I respond. What is a healthy way to respond? When something triggers me to act this way, how can I respond? And what my mentor taught me is, he called it water off of a duck. That's why I'm able to, something happened. It could be at my job. It could be outside of work. It could be in my ministry and my business. No matter what, I have developed a healthy way of deal with it later, or just letting it brush off. Where people be like, yo, it didn't even bother me. It might have bothered me, but I'll never let you notice it bother me. I know how to do it in a healthy way when I can sit it to the side and deal with it that way instead of just responding. That's why it says part of the process is learning to manage life's obstacles. Notice it's not just an addiction thing. Life's obstacles and respond in healthy, constructive ways. That's the key. How are you going to respond when you're faced with those situations? All right, where we at?
How mental health can impact your sobriety. Although the holidays are supposed to be filled with celebration and togetherness, many feel more depressed, anxious, and stressed than usual. The pressure to feel fulfilled and joyous can have the opposite effect on those struggling with mental health diagnosis, including substance use dependence. According to a National Alliance in Mental Illness survey of individuals with diagnosed mental illness, approximately 64% of respondents stated that the holiday season has a negative effect on their condition by making it a lot or somewhat worse.
Wow. That's amazing to me because around the holiday, well, when I was actively using it was a holiday every day. So it was like I didn't have to wait for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I thought the ball was dropping every day. I mean, I never really was focused on holidays, but I get it having a negative effect on a lot of people. That percentage of the 64%, I probably was in the 36. I was in the other percentage. It ain't bother me like that.
Wow. So,
Can I
Yeah,
continue?
you can.
For those struggling with substance use dependence, extra stress and anxiety during the holiday season can make staying sober even more difficult than usual. When a person struggles with multiple mental health issues, in some cases, the symptoms of one disorder can worsen the other, especially when stress is heightened. Unfortunately, co-occurring mental health conditions are common among people with substance use disorders. In fact, according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, people with anxiety disorders are 2 to 3 times more likely to have a substance abuse disorder during their lifetimes compared to the general population. The NAMI warns that those with underlying mental health issues, including substance use dependence, may find their symptoms worsening during this time of year. Extra stress and anxiety during Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and New Year's can cause some to self-medicate with alcohol and drugs. Research indicates that environmental factors such as chronic and acute stress may increase one's likelihood of substance use and relapse. Against the current backdrop of the coronavirus pandemic, a time in which levels of stress and depression have already increased for many, things can feel even more challenging this holiday season.
Right. And she said, unfortunately, co-occurring mental health conditions are common among people with substance use disorder. And that is so true because a lot of times individuals don't want to acknowledge about the co-occurring part because when anytime in our society, which is actually wrong, anytime we talk about mental health, individuals always associate mental health with being crazy or use the term stereotype like you crazy, you're gonna get mental health. No, if you need to go talk to a person in the mental health field, don't feel like something's so wrong with you, you know what I mean? Just go do it. So but with a lot of people have co-occurring mental health conditions, I believe. I know for sure at one point in time I had a lot of mental health things, depression, anxiety going on because of the repeated failure. When I did not know how to turn my failures into be able to push me, the repeated failure and the guilt was making me depressed. Like, golly, I gotta start over and do it over. So that turns into depression.
Especially in put in a position of frustration.
Yeah.
When things is not going our way, we have a tendency to, if we don't have the appropriate coping skills or family and friends around us to encourage us to be self-motivating or to pick us up.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we will turn to something that we call soothing, and that may be a drug or alcohol to numb the pain. And so we're here to encourage you that there are other options.
You know, other options that you can use. What's up, Mr. Kevin?
Hey,
He
Kev.
said, Kevin, he said, Craig, I need that sweater you got on. Hey, Mr. Kevin, that's our man. That's our brother Kevin right there.
Hey, when I'm finished with it, Kevin, I might think about it.
Give it to you for the holiday.
Yeah, man. Good to see you back on the live with us again.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna
Let's go to the next one.
continue on. Why loneliness makes staying sober during the holidays difficult? Let's talk about it. While the holidays are supposed to be a time of joy and celebration spent with family and friends, that's not the case for everyone.
Right.
Some people have little family, are far away from their loved ones, are estranged, or have lost loved ones. Because of the coronavirus and social distancing measures, others are unable to physically celebrate with their families and loved ones this year. The barrage of images and ad chock full of happy families celebrating the holidays can make one feel more alone than ever. For alcoholics and those who suffer with other substance use disorders, intensifying feelings of loneliness and isolation during the holiday season can cause them to cope through substance use. Moreover, because of COVID-19, now we have this other variant, Omicron, and so that's an added measure of people have to think about. Less access to recovery networks has made it harder for those in recovery to get the extra support they need during this time of year. And so this article hit right at home here at Capital Recovery Center, being that we are not physically able to allow people to come through those doors in large numbers, but only through appointment only, we have to resort to virtual meeting. And so it's good to know that Kevin is on the line. And so, hey man, hey Kev, if we didn't say Happy Thanksgiving, we're gonna say Merry Christmas to you if you celebrate it, whatever you celebrate.
Happy holidays.
Happy holiday. There you go, man. It happens when you get young.
You know, Mike didn't think about it, but that's all right.
It said, why loneliness makes staying sober during the holidays difficult. And then it says some people have little family or far away from their loved ones, are estranged, or have loved ones lost. I heard a statement or a person repeated something that to Craig as we were going out, and we went to a door to look for an individual to talk to them, and the response was that person is not welcomed here. Wow. And when you think about that, some individuals, if you're out there and you're listening to this now or later, and you have went through all of those stages where you have destroyed the relationships with your family, and during the holidays you feel a lot like feel down because you have destroyed or burnt those bridges where some family members believe, you know, you're not welcome here. And that's understandable on their point because we don't know the details leading up to that. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because you are welcome here. If you're not welcome there, you're welcome here. And if you're in that place that you feel like you're not welcome, that's your family and friends' house due to your substance use disorder. And here, the recovery coaches here at Capital Recovery Center want to let you know that you can reach out to us and you are welcome here, and we'll treat you just like the family members that you are.
Yeah, I like that, man. That's a good plug, man. You're working on some things, man. You know, all right, good.
Learn more about treatment with a free consultation. No, we're going to skip that. Go to how triggers. Is it up here? I don't know if I put it up there. How triggers can impact your ability to stay sober during the holidays. Festive gatherings and holidays themselves are wrought with triggers for alcoholics and people who struggle with addiction. According to some individuals, the holidays from Halloween forward are most slippery times of the year for people who struggle with alcohol. It's simply because a lot of families are drinking more during this time of year, and because alcoholics themselves drink heavily during the holidays. True fact. Heavy drinking during the holidays is quite a commonplace. In fact, according to beveragedaily.com, Americans doubled their rate of drinking between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-wee.
Wow.
Oh man, they go up. It says for those who aren't in recovery, their heavy drinking may go unnoticed amongst the people who among all of the alcohol consumptions, parties and gatherings, also other easy access to substances. When it comes to the holidays and recovery, people struggling with addiction who are sober and clean may also struggle finding themselves surrounded by this big word, triggers. Triggers are cues one associates with their substance use. These triggers vary from person to person. You might not have a trigger like me. You might have a trigger like him or like her or whatever. We might have different triggers. This thing might don't bother you. You can see somebody drinking and it ain't nothing. I see somebody drinking like I want some. So you got to understand that they vary. Triggers are cues one associate with their substance use. This can include situations, feelings, smells, sights, people, objects, and more. That's enough on that particular topic. Let's see where we at. Financial stress. Go ahead, Ms. Karen. Yeah, drop that. One more.
Financial stress. Financial stress and commercialization of the holidays. For many, expectations and financial pressure during the holidays creates feelings of guilt and stress. Combining the expenses of the holidays and recovery pressures can cause some to use drugs or alcohol to avoid their negative feelings. Not being able to afford the latest gifts for one's child or loved ones does not feel great. Between the numerous events, gifts, and travels, it's not hard to feel stressed about mounting holiday expenses. Social media advertisements and deep discounts can further anxiety, making it seem as if splurging is a necessary part of holidays.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Talk to a loved one about getting help during the holidays. Good stuff. Be mindful. If you know someone that needs some help, we're going to be at the Violent Police Station on Monday.
And then Wednesday would be
the road, that is.
Yeah.
The Recovery on Wheels.
The Recovery on Wheels will be located throughout the Cumberland County community all month long.
All month long.
Twice a month, twice a week.
Twice a week. We got 8 days in the next month.
Okay. All right. He did the math already. All right.
8 days.
So it says talking to a loved one about getting help during the holidays. For many, the holidays are spent with family or friends. This may mean seeing with a loved one whose substance use, right? This may mean seeing with a loved one whose substance abuse concerns you. If you are worried about a loved one's substance use disorder, you don't have to sit idly by. The article says if you know someone, don't turn a blind eye. If you think that someone is struggling with the substance use disorder, please reach out to us here at Capital Recovery Center. The number is scrolling down to the bottom of the screen, and reach out to us, and we will do all we can to assist, especially when overdose is an all too real possibility. Mike talked about we go out in the community and we do the Narcan. Those who have been Narcan from the use of some type of substance use disorder, and we go out to encourage them or to give them some type of assistance along the way so that they would know that, you know, this thing here, we are doing all we can to provide wellness holistically, you know, not just substance use, but there's a not barrage. All right.
Talk to a loved one or someone that's close to you. Don't just leave it in your head. If you feel like you're triggered to go do something or go back to the life you came out of, you have to talk to someone. It's okay, no matter if you're female, male. It's okay to talk to someone about what you're going through. I noticed by practice, the more I talk about something that I'm thinking about, I take the power from the thought and put it back in my possession. As long as I'm just thinking about it and I ain't saying it to nobody else, the thought is actually controlling me.
And so the article continues, says, friends and families can be instrumental in encouraging a person to get help. Although you cannot force someone to attend treatment, there are a number of ways you can encourage them to seek help without inadvertently enabling their substance use disorder.
You can't force them. You know, because we can walk down the street and see somebody and believe that person needs to go away, and we could be accurately right. But what you think they need and what they're willing to do is two different things. So you can't force them. So even though if somebody talks to you, you're the person that's probably struggling during the holidays comes to talk to you, you can't force them into treatment, but you can be a good listening ear. So let's move. Facing difficulty and uncomfortable situations. The holidays are full of events with coworkers, family, friends. For people struggling with addiction or alcohol, this can also mean running into judgmental relatives, people they previously used to use with, or even people who have been hurt by their addiction. That's why I was saying that statement that person is no longer welcome here. That comes from, more than likely, I'm not 100% accurate, but I'm 99.9 that it came from somebody being hurt. This can make staying sober during the holidays feel like quite a challenge. Emotion and anxiety surrounding these interactions can make having just one drink seem like an immediate solution for those facing addiction. Individuals who have yet to begin their recovery journey may find themselves drinking and using more during this time, while those already in recovery might struggle with substance abuse. Staying sober during the holidays, underlying tension, unresolved issues, resentment, hostility, and guilt can make it hard to keep a balance between celebrating the joyous holidays and recovery. Additionally, pushy relatives and friends inquiring about why a person isn't drinking or doing drugs can further worsen the situation. Do they offer you drink? Why you don't drink? I don't drink. You always drink. I don't drink no more. Have one. Yeah. Why you don't want this drug? Why you always take the drug? It's free. So these are difficulties and uncomfortable situations that you could face during these holiday seasons. Again, our numbers on the screen. If you need someone to talk to, you need to get a recovery coach, you need to be connected to different resources. We are here. Our motto is, how can we help you with your recovery today?
Nike had a great commercial long ago, and it's still relevant today.
Yeah.
And it said,
just do it.
Just say no. You're right. Just do it.
That wasn't Nike.
It wasn't Nike.
That was the first lady, Ronald Reagan's wife.
No, okay.
Ronald
I
Reagan's
thought I
wife.
seen a commercial that says, just do it.
No, let's do the last one.
Okay.
Dealing with exhaustion.
Okay.
Navigating the work, personal, and familiar commitments during the holidays can feel like a lot, especially for a person struggling with addiction and recovery. In general, prioritizing recovery requires a great deal of energy and commitment. Big word. It can feel overwhelming to keep up with many obligations of the holidays and recovery. This can be quite exhausting and stressful, making it hard to remain focused on one's sobriety and recovery. You got to learn how to deal with being exhausted.
Oh,
Self-care. We gotta do the PowerPoint for y'all. You got a good PowerPoint. I need
We're
the
gonna,
shit.
we're gonna do it probably, we're gonna get around to it.
Yeah, New Year's, maybe. Self-care. You gotta learn how to deal with exhaustion. When you're exhausted, you have to find ways to deal with it because those things can trigger you to go back to what you used to do.
Mm-hmm. And so, I believe that's it for,
Yeah, let's do part 2
okay.
next Thursday. We do part 2, and it's going to be the 10 tips to stay sober during the holidays. So we'll go over that next week.
Just like the commercial said, the Nike commercial.
Just do it.
See y'all later.